Hi everyone, and welcome to the Back 40 Feet, where we talk about urban, suburban, and patio gardening. The next few videos that I'm going to be doing is about planting some different seeds, some vegetable seeds specifically, because I'm going to get my root vegetables in today. And I had already mentioned in a previous segment that root vegetables really prefer to be directly sown into the ground as seed and not as seedlings. So that being said, it is 3 weeks before our last frost date. Honestly, I usually try to get some of these in a lot sooner than that, but the last week and a half we've had torrential rain and the seeds just would have gone everywhere. And 3 days ago we had snow, and now it's a beautiful sunny 70-degree day here in New England. So that's how it rolls here. Okay, so I'm getting all my seeds lined up in preparation for getting them out and planted. So what I have right now is I have my radishes. I love radishes. So this is 4 different type of radishes. I'm also going to get some greens out there in addition to the seedlings that I had already started. So that includes my mosh, although here in North America we call it corn salad. I love it. It's an early green that I can harvest within 30 days. My arugula, which is under 30 days, and then my watercress, which is, I can harvest that in a couple weeks. And then I have my beets. So I have 3 different types of beets here: regular red beets, some yellow beets, and then my favorite called chayoga from Italy. And these are almost like peppermint stripes, but they are pure sugar and super sweet. And I also have my salad turnip. So this isn't going to turn into that giant turnip that you might eat at like Thanksgiving or with your boiled dinner at St. Patrick's Day. So these are just tiny turnips. They're about 1 to 2 inches in diameter that you can slice up and have with your salads. So I'm going to get these seedlings in this week. I'm probably ambitious to try to get all of these done in one day. And then of course I have my markers ready that I'll write on those before I go out there to be organized. So the first seeds that I'm going to be planting and talking about are beets. Beets are great because they don't take up very much space when you only have 40 feet to work with. And when you're doing square foot gardening, you can get up to 16 beet plants in 1 square foot, which is pretty productive. The other thing you can do is it's called sequential planting. So each beet only takes about 30 to 45 days from seed to harvest. Some take a little longer, some like 60 days or so. But what you can do is every 2 weeks plant a few more seeds. And then as you start to harvest, you're still planting seeds. So you can pretty much start your seeds now before the last frost and still be harvesting well into, October, early November, until you get a hard frost that freezes the ground. It's a really great crop to plant. The other thing I can do, because I'm not expecting to be putting some of my squashes out yet, it's way too early, is I can plant my early beets in the square foot, actually more than square foot, that I'm going to be putting my squash plants, because they're going to be harvested long before I even go to put squash in. So it's just a way to increase the productivity of your garden. Beet seeds are really hard shelled, and each seed contains 3 seeds within them. So you can get 3 plants per seed, and they'll sprout all like right on top of each other. And once they sprout, you're going to want to thin them to just 1 plant each. So microgreen beet salad, really easy peasy. What I do with my beet seeds, because they're so hard, is I soak them in warm water anywhere from 5 hours up to overnight to just help soften the shell, to make it a little easier for the beets to go through. The other thing to keep in mind is that you need to have really broken up the soil really well for the beets, because they are root vegetables, and if you have a hard ground, it's going to make it really hard for them to sprout. So I have 3 beet types that I'm planting today. I'll just show you my planter signs. So I have a gold beet called Touchstone Gold. I have a white and red striped beet. It's an Italian beet called Chiyoga. And then the other one I have is just a red beet called Forono.
So I'm going to just plant 4 beets each for my square foot, and then 2 weeks from now I'll be planting another 4, and I can equally space these about 3 inches apart. So let's just take a look at the beet seeds for a moment. These are the beet seeds. You can kind of see them in perspective to my hand. So they're not that small, but they're not that big either, and they're kind of brown, look a little bit like a bug. So I have all 3 of these kind of not drying, but I just dumped them out on a paper towel so that I could find them. I was soaking them in a little bowl, and you know, it's just hard to find them in the bowl. And these I'm going to go put in the ground. Conveniently, I've also noticed that the soil temperature is almost 60 degrees, so I should get really good germination for my beet seeds that I plant today.
It might be a little hard to see, but I have my beet seeds here in the dirt. I'm just going to give them a little brush over with the soil. Pat that soil down. And there we go. I've got my 3 sets of beets here. The other thing I have is these are my measuring sticks. So these are 4-foot long dowels that I just have measured off at 1-foot intervals, and that way I can plot out my garden pretty well. So looking forward to some beets.